In this lesson, we're going to discuss the new content collector feature. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open. In the Sample Files folder, select 0407, Efficiency of Collecting and Placing, and just click Open. The content collector allows you to collect various objects and then place them someplace else. Well, can't I just select an object and go under the Edit menu to Copy, and then go to Edit and go to Paste? Well, I could, but the content collector is different. Let me delete my pasted object first. So, what is it about the content collector that's different? And how would you use it? Well, let's say you need to create a layout in a different size than your existing original layout. Well, it may be a good idea to use the content collector. Why? Because any objects you collect, when you place them in your new layout, they're linked back to the original content. And so if you change the original, you can update your linked content as well. It's a very efficient way to work on two slightly different layouts. Well, let's see how it works. I'm going to go to my Content Collector tool in the Tools panel and just click on it. And as soon as I click on it, you can see that there's a content conveyor that pops up that's part of the feature. How do I collect content? Well, I could just go over the top of one of my images, let's say, and just click on it. You can see how it's getting highlighted in red. And then I can go over the top of another object and click on that. And it's going to add that to the content conveyor as well. All of those objects in the content conveyor will be now ready to place. But in this particular case, I have 9 images, and I want to collect them all as a unit. Well, I'm just going to click and drag with my content collector to select all 9, and they've actually been collected into the conveyor. You can see it says 9 in the upper left-hand corner of my first image. Now, let me scroll down in my layout to find more content to collect. I'm going to go over the top of my headline, and you can see now that's being highlighted, and I'm just going to click to add it to the conveyor. Then I'm going to go down to my body text and just click on that frame as well, and that gets added to the conveyor. Before we place anything, why don't we talk about some of the options in the conveyor? I'm going to switch in my conveyor to the Content Placer tool, and you can see my options are no longer grayed out. I could have also switched to the Content Placer in the Tools panel. Now, the first thing I'm noticing is I don't want to place my 9 images first in my next layout. So how do I get to my headline instead? If I click the right-facing arrow, you see that a little pop-up says Next, and that's going to go to the next object in the conveyor. One of the things that I do have checked in the options is Create Link. So the content from my original layout will be linked to my new layout. What is this? Map styles. Well, if I'm using object styles, or I'm using paragraph styles or character styles, I can map the styles from my original layout to the styles that I may have set up in my new layout. And so I can use totally different styles in my 2 layouts. I've actually set up all of the styles in this one document. And you can see it says original styles, and then I have my new styles in 2 separate groups. We'll talk more about styles in upcoming lessons. If I'm going to map, let's say, my paragraph styles to some other styles for my new layout, how do I do that? Well, if I click on this button, Edit Custom Style Mapping, I can tell InDesign exactly how I want to map my styles, from my original styles to the formatting that's in my new styles. I'm going to start by clicking my New Style Mapping button. The first thing I'm going to do is I have a subhead style in my original styles that's totally different than the style that I want to use in my new layout. So let me click down on select source style or style group, and I'm going to choose that one style that has a totally different name. It's called sub, all caps. So it's a subhead style with all caps. And then in the styles that I want to map that style to, I'm going to choose the style I want to map to, which is sub bold. So it's just a bold subhead with no all caps. Let me click on my new style mapping button again, because being that I'm in the same document for both layouts, if my styles have the same name, I have to map one group to another, so it knows to change the formatting in my new layout. So let me just click down on select source style or style group, and I'm going to select my original styles group. So any style that has the same name is going to be mapped to a style with that same name in my other group. Let me select that other group, new styles. So let's say I have a headline where it says collecting the beauty all around you, and I want to map that to totally different formatting. So I'm going to select that style with the same name in the other group. Well, let's see how it works. I'm going to click OK. I have my headline, it's ready to place, and I'm going to scroll down to my next layout. But in this layout, I'm putting the headline at the top, which is why I wanted to place that first. And I'm going to go to the upper left-hand corner of my margins and just click. Now, let me move down slightly and just click again to place my body text at the left margin. Now I'm going to click and place my 9 images all at once by clicking on that left margin slightly under my 2 columns of text. And you can see it did place all 9 images. But let's check out the paragraph styles. And you can see my headlines actually have 2 totally different kinds of formatting. My subhead is not all caps in my placed content in my new layout. And the same thing is true of my body text. My body text in the original layout used Minion Pro Regular. In my place content, because of style matching, it's using Myriad Pro Regular. So it does work, and it's really easy to use. Let me collect some more content from my original layout, and we can talk about some of the other options. I'm going to click on this individual image, then the one next to it, and then the one next to that. And I'm going to go to Content Placer tool in my conveyor. Let's talk about these 3 options. If I were to just start placing, let me do that. You can see it's going to get rid of the content I just placed and go to the next. So that's what this is about. Let me go to the next one. It says place multiple and keep in conveyor. What that would do is I can place everything that I have collected. Let me do that. I'm going to click on this and place the 2 remaining objects. And you can see it keeps placing the same image over and over again, and it's not moving to the next. Well, what's this next one? Place, keep in conveyor, and load next. Well, in this particular case, watch what happens. I'm going to click to place, and it goes to the next. And if I click again, it's going to go to the next. This allows me to do multiple layouts at the same time. And as soon as I place all of my content, I can go to the next layout and start placing the content again. What is this last thing over on the left? Load conveyor. Well, it's allowing me to decide what to load. I could either load a selected object, or I could load pages, either all of my pages or a particular page. I could also load all of my pages, including pasteboard objects, so they're not even on my page. Let me just hit cancel. Let's go back to our type tool. I want to see what happens if I change the content in my original headline. I'm going to change you at the end of the headline to us. And now I'm going to scroll down to my new layout, and you can see there's a little warning sign right there. Let me go to my selection tool, and if I click on that warning sign, it's going to update that text to remain the same as my original content. So you can see how easy it is to use the new content collector to place images in a new layout. We're going to continue to discuss working with objects in the next lesson.